Drummers use ghost notes to add subtle rhythmic movement to beats, fills, and solos. Patterns can take on new levels of interest and nuance when ghost notes are added. Ghost notes can also help you create more intricate patterns. Adding activity to a drum part in this way can fill out the groove without getting in the way of the melody or vocal. This is because a ghost note is played at a low dynamic level, in contrast to the louder notes from bass drum and snare drum. This deeper sense of dynamics and articulation will add a new dimension to your sound and another layer to your groove. Let's take a look at the techniques involved in executing ghost notes and learn about a couple simple beats involving this fun and useful drumming skill. Ghost notes are usually played in between the more dominant beats of a pattern. Many patterns involve playing an eighth note subdivision on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal. The ghost note patterns we will use today will function on the 16th note subdivisions in between those eighth notes. In other words, the E and the of each beat. Ghost notes get their name from the fact that they're played very softly at a low dynamic level. Therefore, it's a good idea to play the snare drum backbeat with a control stroke to set you up down close to the head to play the low ghost note at a piano or even pianissimo volume level. Let's start with a basic medium tempo beat, hi-hat playing eighth notes, snare drum on 2 and 4, bass drum playing 1, 3, and 1, 3, and 4. Here we go. Use a control stroke for snare drum backbeats and play a tap on the second 16th note of beat 3. This is the E of 3. Be sure you hear a clear difference in dynamic level between your backbeats and ghost notes. It is not a ghost note unless it is quiet. Simply drop the stick without any additional force, then pick it up for the next backbeat using a control stroke to set up the next ghost note. Beats like this recall the sound of early funk music and artists such as James Brown. Mr. Brown had a string of funky hits in the 60s and 70s, and 2 of his drummers in particular are considered to be among the founding fathers of funk. The drumming of Clyde Stubblefield and John Jabbo Starks even provided the rhythmic foundation for the new music created by the pioneering DJs of early hip-hop. Ghost note playing eventually involved very complex, syncopated, hip-sounding, fun-to-play licks. In order to expand your vocabulary when it comes to the placement of ghost notes, I have a simple exercise. Play eighth notes with the right hand on the hi-hat and tap out a ghost note in between each one of them, like this. Once you can do this easily, add a right-handed backbeat on snare. Make sure your dynamic levels are consistent as you reach your right stick over top of your left stick. Adding bass drum on 1 and 3 turns this into a fun beat. Starting with the basic ghost note pattern we worked out earlier, try adding another ghost note on the final 16th note of beat 2 leading into beat 3. This additional ghost note provides more rhythmic interest in the middle part of the measure. Again, be sure your ghost notes are clearly and properly articulated and that you're doing it consistently, like this. Once this is consistent, you can use both of the variations we have covered to create a 2-bar phrase. A 2-bar beat is always a little more interesting. Notice how the slight difference is effective. In other words, a small change can be big. By increasing the activity level of the ghost notes, displacing the backbeat, and using alternate snare drum sounds such as buzzes and diddles, you can greatly increase your rhythmic command of the instrument. The more intricate beats really are a lot of fun to play, and there are no rules except solid time and meter. So you have to experiment and try to apply these ideas to things you already know. Additionally, I encourage you to investigate classic funk drumming and its modern-day parallels. Like any musical language, you must familiarize yourself with the players who developed it. You must copy their sound, make it your own. Eventually, you'll be on your way to finding your own true voice as a musician. Always listen to music, work with a metronome, and most importantly, stick with it and have fun.